Welcome to Martha Runs the World, a podcast with a new take on running, fitness, and all things health-oriented. I'm Martha Hughes, your host, and each week I present a new topic that is of interest to all runners. Hi, and welcome to episode 291 of Martha Runs the World. This week, it's all about the Paris Olympics. I'm going to talk about the running events, basically. I'll talk a little bit about a couple other things, but it's just really focused on the running, which had me spellbound. Yeah, I was so into it. How about you? Did you watch the Paris Olympics? Did you watch the running events? What did you think about it? Let me know. Just a couple of words before I get started. I'm going to focus on the running. I'm not going to focus on the controversies. And if you want to talk about the controversies, that's not what this show is about. That's for other podcasts to cover. So if you want to talk about that, find other podcasts. Okay? All right. So let's get started here. In a previous podcast, I talked about the history of the Olympics. Now, I did forget a couple of two strange events that happened in the Olympics, in the running history of the Olympics. So I thought I'd bring them up now because they're kind of funny. They're strange, funny, weird, not funny, haha. In 1912, a Japanese marathon runner quit and went home to Japan without telling anyone. He was considered missing for 50 years, so his marathon time is listed as 54 years, 8 months, 6 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes, and 20.379 seconds. So he has the slowest marathon time in the history of the Olympics. So I thought that was kind of strange. And at the 2004 Athens Olympics, a Brazilian marathoner, Vanderlei Cordeiro de Lima, had a 30-second lead when an Irish priest in the crowd grabbed him. Unfortunately, that upset him so much he lost the lead and came in third, after Stefano Baldini and Meb Keflezighi. And nobody knows why the priest did what he did. There wasn't a reason for that, or maybe he was mentally unstable. No one really knows. So those kind of things do happen on occasion, not often, fortunately. Those were kind of strange events that I did not include in my Olympics history episodes that I thought I'd add now. A couple of the things about the Olympics. I thought the coverage was pretty good. One thing that bugged me about it is that NBC could have had a nice guide on their Peacock site to when the events were. They said, oh, well, you can go to this app. You can add this app. You know, we already added the Peacock app, but then you had to add another app to find all the events. Why? Can't you put everything in one place? We have to add this and add this and add this? No, you should have the page on the Peacock app or the page on the Peacock website where everything was listed right there. You have everything right there in one place. So I found actually a newspaper who had everything listed. I think it was a Cleveland newspaper or something, who had everything listed very nicely. That should have been done by Peacock. So that was a bad thing. That was a negative on NBC's part. I first thought that adding Snoop Dogg was not going to be a good thing. I didn't understand why they did it, but he was really good. I mean, him going to all the different events, he was very, very good host. So I thought that was good. And I also thought in the running events, they had really good guest hosts, Kara Goucher, who I love. She was one of the hosts in the longer running events, and I thought that was really, really good. That was a big plus. So I appreciated that. And then each race had really good guest hosts coming up to talk about the event. I thought that was really, really nice. They did a good job with that. And they did allow you to see replays of everything. That was nice. So I was able to see things that I missed when I went out on my runs, if I wasn't working, or if I was at work, I was able to see things as well on the app. But they should have showed where everything was being scheduled. It should have been easier to find stuff. All right. Now the American uniforms were both good and bad. The ones with the stripes were terrible. Those were just awful, and they didn't stand out well, and they didn't look good. The ones with the red and blue tops and the blue shorts, those were pretty good. I liked those a lot. But the striped ones, weren't good. I think the French and the Jamaicans had the best looking uniforms. Those were really, really nice. I like those a lot. Those were my favorites. And also, it's nice to see that the women runners now have a choice in what they wear. If they didn't feel like wearing those ultra short running bottoms, they could wear shorts if they wanted to. It's just that there never seemed to be a choice before. So it's nice to see that they had a choice if they wanted. And on this list of the different races, I'm not going to go through every single runner in the race and every single time of every single runner in the race. That just would become a laundry list of people and times, and it just get kind of boring to listen to, I think. So I'm just going to talk about the highlights of each race. And let me say that each race was exciting in its own way. Every single race was really fun. The athleticism is so big right now. It's really huge. It's just amazing how fit, well, of course they're fit. They're the greatest athletes in the world, but it's amazing how incredible each race was. It just was wildly entertaining. And some races I've watched over and over again because they're just so great. The Stade de France is the stadium where the running took place, except, of course, the marathon. It was built in 1998 for the FIFA World Cup, so it's been there a little while, but it looks very sleek and very nice. It holds 80,000 people. Of course, I haven't been there personally, but on camera, it looked very good. The first night of the running at Stade de France, it was pouring rain, so it was rough conditions, but the runners got it done. And the first night, of course, was the 100-meter races for the men and women, so those were amazing. The first race, the men's 100-meter, Noah Lyles of the U.S. won with a personal best of 9.79 seconds. And he just looked great. He looked like he was ready for it, and he came out of those gates, and he just, boom, he got it. The women's 100-meter run was Julian Alfred of St. Lucia. She got a national record of 10.72 seconds, and it was their first medal in any sport. And yes, we all wanted Sha'Carri Richardson to win, but having Alfred win was not a bad thing. And some people saying, we better check her that she got steroids, and did she cheat, and, all these bad things. And it's like, come on, get over it. No, she didn't cheat. No, she's not on steroids. No. She won fair and square. She's a great runner. It just shows that people don't pay attention to running and runners. Alfred is an exceptional runner and always has been, and she just doesn't run a lot of international events. So when she comes out there, it surprises everybody. Yeah, they know that she means business. Here's the thing. St. Lucia is a poor little island country. They don't have a lot of resources there. It's quite easy for us in our comfortable homes in a safe country to criticize the Olympics, saying that it doesn't matter and we should boycott them because we don't agree with this, that, or that. But for a small, poverty-stricken country like St. Lucia, having someone like Alfred win is huge. It's massively huge. It means so much to them. She can bring hope to the people of St. Lucia. Now, little girls and boys have someone they can admire and look up to and dream of being one day. They're going to build a statue for her. They're going to name a stadium after her. The people will have a hero they can dream about and talk about and work towards building the future around. That's how important Alfred is to that little country. And that's how important running will be for that little country in the future. And that's incredible. That's an incredible thing. And that's what the Olympics are all about. And that's why they're so important. All right. Now the women's 200 meter. Now, as much as I like the 100 meter, I like the little bit longer distances better just because it's not just a fast dash. It's a little bit more. You have to put a little more oomph into it. And Gabby Thomas won gold in that. And there are 3 U.S. runners in this event, including Gabby Thomas, who won bronze in Tokyo, and Dina Asher-Smith, and Julian Alfred is also in this, and then Nigeria's Favor Ophelia is also in that. Jamaican Sharika Jackson withdrew ahead of the heats. But Gabby, like I said, Thomas did win gold. So that was an incredible, incredible race and really fun to watch. And all this stuff, if you get Peacock, all this stuff is available on there, and I'm sure it'll be available on YouTube. If not now, it will be soon. All this stuff is available on YouTube eventually. All right, the men's 200. Letsile Tebogo of Botswana won in 19.46 seconds. Kenneth Bednarek of the U.S. won silver in 19.62 seconds. And they call him Kung Fu Kenny because he has his headband around his head like a Kung Fu master. And Noah Lyles won bronze in 19.70 seconds. And Bednarek's story is so impactful and so powerful, how he was raised by a family who adopted him. It'll bring tears to your eyes. His story is so wonderful. And watching Lyles after the 200-meter, we knew something was wrong with him. He collapsed on the track after the race and was seen taken out of the stadium on a stretcher. And it was found out that Lyles had tested positive for COVID and after his 100-meter victory. So here's a couple thoughts on that. People said, oh, he shouldn't have run. He should have bowed out. He shouldn't have done it. Well, that's one thing to think about. But here's another one. He won a gold medal while probably not feeling his best, and some have criticized him for that, some who don't run and don't understand the importance of running. These Olympics are what he's trained to do most of his life. If you were in his shoes, you'd do the same as he did, as would I. It's easy for us to say he shouldn't have run, but it's not so easy for us to understand the drive that these athletes have to perform and to be the very best in the world. That's the difference. This is all that they have. This is all that they plan towards doing. This is their life. This is all they've thought about for years. So, yeah, it's super easy for us to say, he should just bow out. Well, maybe it's not. It's not easy for him to do that. It's different. It's different for an Olympic athlete to just say, I shouldn't do it. So let's not pass judgment so quickly, okay? All right, now moving on to the men's 400 meter. This was an incredible race. I think this might be one of my favorites just because Quincy Hall didn't start out the race ahead. I like the 400 meter because it's one full lap of the course. So you have two turns that you have to navigate as well as two straightaways, which makes it really exciting. Through determination and grit, he pulled ahead and won. And he was, even at the end of the race, he was just shocked. He just had this look of shock and surprise that he won. And it was just such a great look. He was just so happy and so ecstatic and so grateful. It was really wonderful. It was just a great race. And the women's 400 meter was incredible. One of the best runners in the world, Marilady, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, Paulino of the Dominican Republic won the women's, and she's one of the best runners in the whole world. She was just did it. There weren't any American women who won medals in that race. Now, the men's 800 meter and women's 800 meter, there weren't any American winners in those races. The gold winner for the men, Wanyonyi of Kenya, and the women's Keely Hodgkinson of Great Britain. Both are exceptional runners, just some of the best you'll ever see. The women's 1500 meter, Faith Kipyegon, just one of the best runners in history. She blazed to victory in the Olympic Games in the 1500 meter, finishing in 3 minutes, 51.29 seconds, and got the gold. And she is the first athlete, male or female, to win gold in this event in 3 different games. That's right. So I think she's 30, and she's a mom, but she won this event in 3 different games. So she owns this event. This is her event. She owns it. Lock, stock, and barrel. All right. And the men's 1500, this was an incredible event with a shocking ending. So Cole Hawker of the U.S. took gold. Yes, this is a great race. He took gold, and Yaron Neguse of the U.S. took the bronze, while Great Britain's Josh Kerr takes the silver. The women's 5,000 meter, now this had a huge controversy, really, really big controversy, and almost got physical towards the race end. The unexpected happened with 2 laps to go as Faith Kipyegon clashed with Ethiopian world record holder Gutaf Tsegay before Chebet outsprinted her with 4 meters to go. Kipyegon was disqualified, which shocked everyone. Though excited to win her maiden gold medal, Chebet, 24, took a swipe at Tsegay for her dirty tricks. Tsegay finished a distant 9th at 14 minutes 45.21 seconds. Fortunately, Kipyegon's medal was reinstated after Kenya appealed. If a runner wants in and the runner there tries to push her away, it's not very sporty, is it? No, I don't think so. You should let her in. Really, if they want in, you got to let them in. That was pretty unreal. I mean, that just shows how high emotions are, and when you're running and no one wants to fall, and if you don't let them in, it might just end in a collision, which would be horrible for everyone involved. The men's 5,000 meter. Now this is totally a different race, and this shows why Jakob Ingebrigtsen may not be the king of the 1,500 meter, but he's the king of the 5,000 meter. What a race. He got gold way ahead of everybody else. And Ronald Kwimoy of Kenya got the silver, and Grant Fisher got his first of what would be 2 bronze medals. That's right. He's like Hawker. He's the future of American racing. He really is. Now, the women's 10,000 meter. Now, Beatrice Chebet of Kenya won this event. She was in the 5,000 meter, but this time she comes in and wins the gold. In the men's 10,000 meter, this was so exciting. And see, I like watching all the different loops, and NBC doesn't think that we're going to be excited to watch all the different loops. So they go to commercials and they go to the field events and they do all this other stuff in between. And it's like, hey, get back to the race, stop pulling away, back to the race. So that's a little frustrating. But once they get back to the race and it gets towards the end, there's a lot of jostling and a lot of changes. And Joshua Cheptegei of Uganda won the gold. Berihu Eragawe, and I'm totally apologize if I'm butchering the names. I am so sorry. Berihu Eragawe of Ethiopia wins silver. Grant Fisher of the U.S. got bronze, and that was the second bronze medal of these Olympics. So he's got middle distances down. Those were really, really cool, and those were the events in Stade de France. What terrific events. What amazing, terrific events. And then the marathons took place on the last weekend of the Olympics. And they switched it around. They used to have the men's marathon would be the last event, but this time they had the women's as the last event. And the marathon course is a tough course. There's 2 nasty hills. So it's probably a lot like the San Francisco Marathon, which is really, really hard. Now, the 2 nasty hills can make or break the runners. Goes through a course that honors the 1789 Women's March on Versailles fighting famine that was everywhere in Paris at that time. Ethiopian Tamirat Tola led the race from near the middle of the course to finishing by a long distance. Here's the shocking thing about Tola, is he was a stand-in for an injured Ethiopian runner who couldn't do it. So he didn't even realize he was going to run the race till, a little bit, just a few weeks beforehand. He looked very relaxed and in control. He was fun to watch. And so later in the day, towards evening, there was a marathon held for the public for 20,000 people on that same route. So what fun to be able to run the same route that the Olympic marathoners ran. That would be fun. And the next day, the Sunday, the last day of the Olympics, the women's marathon took place. And this was much more of a battle, especially at the end. And I thought it was going to be another one where there was physical contact. So women's running really is a physical contact sport. Sifan Hassan of the Netherlands took the gold, but she had to battle first silver medal winner Tigst Assefa. And so that was really, really interesting. I really thought that was going to turn into a brawl. So that was a good ending. And just a couple mentions, the men's 4x100 meter relay team, they had a fumbled baton pass, and that led to the men's team being disqualified. So that was a real letdown. And that's not the first time that the men's team has fumbled in the baton passing. So I don't know what's up with that. They cannot pass the baton. The women's 4x100 relay team with Sha'Carri Richardson and Gabby Thomas, how can you lose? They got gold. And both the 4x400 meter relay teams won gold. With the men's, with Benjamin, Bailey, Dedman, and Norwood, they got gold. And in the women's, Gabby Thomas and Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, they got gold too. Now, I didn't cover hurdle events because it's not straight running, and hurdling is kind of a different thing. However, I'm going to talk about Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone because if she wasn't doing hurdles, she'd be the best 400-meter runner in the world. In the world. She is incredible. She had her big showdown was with Femke Bol of the Netherlands in the 400-meter hurdles. And it wasn't really a showdown. It turned out not to be. Because once she got started, she passed everybody up so quickly and so finally that it wasn't even, she was so far gone. Everyone else was so much in the distance. It was like the Roadrunner. It was like, she's gone. And I kind of felt bad for Bol because after the race was over, Bol was seen crying her eyes out in the arms of her parents. I felt so bad. But here's the thing. Bol is young. She's 24, 23, 24, or maybe not even that. Maybe she's 22. I don't know. She's very young. So she's going to be force when she gets a little older. She gets next Olympics. You watch out for her. She is going to be tough. She's going to be the best. Maybe, I don't know. But I think she's going to be up there. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So watch out for her in the coming Olympics. And I know it's not running. I said I was only going to focus on running, but I do have to say one thing, that Mondo Duplantis, the pole vaulting, wow. That was one of the most fun events I watched the whole time. Him winning gold and him getting the world record height, that was pretty fun. That was really, really fun. What a fun event to watch. What a fun event. There was an ad-on that showed this guy on his bed watching rowing, and he wasn't really interested, but he started watching and he got really, really into it. Saying the Olympics are about watching sports you never cared about and getting really into it. Yeah, it's true. You can watch an event that you never cared about and get really excited about it. And that's what it's about. It's about different countries coming together and for the sake of sport. And it doesn't have anything to do about what the government does, what their governments do. It's about the athletes coming together for the sake of sports. And that's what I think it's about. That's what I enjoyed it for. And I put aside all the political garbage because that's not what the athletes are doing. It's about the sport and enjoying the sense of competition. Okay, so that is it. And that's all for 4 years. So we'll watch it again in 4 years to see what's going on. Okay, so that's my show, and I hope you enjoyed it. And what was your favorite race? What was your favorite competition? What did you enjoy? And what sport did you watch that you never watch? That you never thought you'd sit down and watch that you actually watched? Well, what was your favorite one of that? Let me know, and you can email me at martharunstheworld@gmail.com. The website is martharunstheworld.com. And until next week, let's tie up our shoelaces and go for a run.